and Carly show.
I'm Nikki.
And I'm Carly. And we're sisters. And tonight's podcast is going to be about setting the standard. So, but first, let's get into our weeks.
So how did your week go, Carly?
Was that good? Did I do a good job?
It was good. We talked about how awkward our intro is, so we're good. We're still working on it.
And Nicole said we should switch people.
Switch, so I should be Carly and she should be Nikki, and then we should do it. One episode we should just be each other. And so whenever Carly laughs, she's
and Nikki laughs.
I'm doing it. You did it.
I can't help it. It's so bad. Why do I laugh like that? It's terrible.
I know,
It's like you saw that one with the girl who was getting married, and she's like,
"Oh yeah, she
practicing my smile." And
yeah,
it's like her wedding pictures. She looks crazy.
In every single one of them, she looks crazy.
That's totally me. Like I have not a cute smile or laugh. It's
and I like, and then when you see pictures of yourself, like, in the side angle, because my kids snap me all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I'm like, who are you sending that to? Because that is not a good angle of me. And then they're like, oh, just my friends. And I'm like, you have like 300 followers. Like, they just sent my nostrils out to 300 people. And my jaws.
I know. Emily loves to do that. She likes to get up her nose. It's great.
And so I told Carla, I said, my jowls are like starting to droop. And so I asked how you could fix that. And she said, well, you have to put filler up here. And I'm like, do I look like I need more filler up there?
What did she say?
She just laughed at me. And I said, maybe I should lose 20 pounds and then we'll talk about my jowls. She said, okay.
There was this guy at the fields tonight, one of the dads. He said, I started going to the gym. He's talking to other people, but I can hear him talking, and I don't know who he is. I've never met him. He's like, yeah, I've been going to the gym, and he's like, I lost like 70 pounds. And when I was like, dang, because dude was skinny, right? And I'm like, dang, 70 pounds. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like 6 foot, and I was like 245, and I was like, ooh.
Look, I'm like trying to do the math.
I know somebody. So
you're like sizing him up, like, oh, that's what he would look like.
But I was like, dang, 70 pounds. Kudos to you, dude.
So Jake is like I say that he hadn't been in a while, but we've had some health stuff. But Jake's like a gym rat, and he loves the gym, and he's like always feels better when he goes. And I'm not a gym rat. I don't like it. And so every time he starts to get skinny, I'm like, you want some cookies?
Yeah.
I think I told you that, where I like him a little thicker, so I'm like, I'm like,
I am not a gym person. Like, I would be that awkward person at the gym, like, using the machines all wrong. Like, that would be me. Like, I have a fear of gyms because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm like, I feel like everybody would be watching me like, this girl has no clue what she's doing.
Or they're judging how much weight you're doing. I'm like, shut up, okay? 15 pounds is a lot for me.
I gotta work up to the higher weight.
But then there's a one machine at the gym, and it does your inner and outer thighs. Yeah. And that's like my favorite one because I'm like, that's where I want to tone the most, But when you're doing it, you're like crotch out to everybody. They don't ever put them right in the spot where like you're discreet. And then I'm like, well, shit, did I bring anything to cover my crotch? And then you're just wide open. Just, hey, everybody.
Like, hand towels. Let me just.
And then you're just bringing more. You're just bringing more attention.
You come out of the bathroom with paper towels from the bathroom. Let me just put these right here. Work out.
There's some
Nothing to
guy.
see here.
There's some guy next to me. He's lifting like 50, and I'm like, are there 2.5s? Are there 2.5s? Because
God forbid if I'm ever in a situation where I have to like do a pull up to get myself out of danger, like you know those crocodile zip lines or something. Like if I ever have to do that, I'm screwed. Like I'm going to die because I cannot do a pull up to save my life.
well, okay. Did I tell you about what happened at CrossFit when I did CrossFit?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
so Jake did CrossFit, and again, gym rat. So that's like his love language. So he's always asking me to go to the gym. Maybe I should. Anyway, I digress. But he's always asking me to go. So I was like, fine, I'll go with you. But I'm not reading they put out the WODs every time, and so you know what you're gonna do when you get there. And I'm like, I'm not gonna read it because if it's running, I'm not going. Like I'm grown, I can make that choice. I'm not gonna run. I don't run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, anyway, so we were going. Well, they have to modify the exercises for me.
Yeah.
Okay, they do it for a lot of people, but so I have inner ear damage, so I can't go like up and down. And so
Yeah.
they modify it for me. Well, even the modified version, I'm like, okay, whew, it's a workout. I'm good. I feel good. That was hard. My arms were jello. They're shaking a little. They're like, okay, that was the warm up. Everybody go to the bar. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought that was the workout. Like, I peed a little. My arms are jello. And I don't know if I can. So I'm slow to get up. We go over to the bars, and all the lower bars are taken. So I'm stuck with like the highest bar. So I'm already behind now, right? So now I gotta go find a stool. I gotta bring the stool over because I can't reach the bar. And I can do the pull-ups with the band, like a very tight band, but a band.
Yeah.
And so I'm up there and I'm trying to pull the band down to put over my foot. Because you put it over one foot, right? And then it helps you like go up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So you tie the band to
Yeah,
the
and
bar.
those videos where it slips off the foot and goes up in your hoo-ha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that almost happened. I was like, I quit. But so what happened was I put the band and it catches like my toe because my arms are literally so weak. So I'm barely holding this bar down. And I'm standing on a stool with one leg up, right? Like that's not where I want to be. And my band catches my toe. And so I grab the bar, my leg swings out in front of me because the band's so tight. So it's got my leg locked out in front of me. And I'm hanging from this bar. I can't reach the stool anymore. Like I'm up out of it. I'm just swinging. And I'm like, I can't say words. I'm hysterically laughing. Jake is on the other side of the gym. And the coach is in between us, and the coach looks at Jake, and Jake's laughing, and he's like, no, you the coach. And I'm like, somebody come and get me. I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to fall off of here.
Yeah.
So finally he came and he pulled my leg down, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm made for this. And then they have, like, the double unders. Have you ever done a double under?
I told you I don't go to the gym. I've never joined the gym in my life.
But did you ever have to do it, like, in PE or anything?
What do they look like? I don't know.
A jump rope, but it's two, like at one time, a double under.
Oh,
okay. So you do like you have to have the rope go under you twice.
Ask me if I've ever done jump roping.
start there. I guess
I've
jump
done
roping.
like the tricky tricks with them. Like that's like a trick. Like you had to do it twice.
Yeah.
Times.
No, that's the exercise, and everybody's doing them. Well, their jump ropes aren't like the ones we had, like the nylon soft ones. They're like actual, like plastic.
Like whips that they hurt from the inside.
Oh my gosh, I whipped myself so hard so many times. It looked like somebody whipped me. And then you're sweating, so it stings. I'm screaming. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. But yeah, so that's my CrossFit. I was like, I'm out. But now,
Don't find me at the gym.
I did go to the gym with Jake for a little while, but then Emily, Emily was like home from summer, so she wanted to go with Jake. Jake said it's a whole different world going to the gym with Emily, because the whole time he's like protecting her, looking at people like, "That's my daughter. Get your eyes off her." She's so cute.
Yeah.
So everybody's like stalking her, and he's like, "Don't look at my daughter."
Yeah, well, I just do a little bit of workouts at home where I do like my legs and I lift them up to the side, and the kids are like, "What are you doing?" Like I'm exercising while I'm laying on the ground watching TV.
I bought that Fit Coach. I told you that last week, where it keeps texting me,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's like at home exercises. And so the kids came in, and I was doing them, and they're like, "We're really proud of you, Mom." I'm like, "Leave, like leave. I don't want you watching me." But it was
yeah.
so funny.
So what happened for you this week? Anything crazy?
uh, no, we've been. So I had the flu 2 weeks ago, and then Nate got the flu, and then Jake went down. But so yeah, we've had a pretty interesting weekend. Jake had to go to the emergency room for his asthma, and thought maybe have to do it again last night. But yeah, it's been it's rough. This flu is rough. And Jake's
Yeah.
got stupid abs from coughing. Do I have abs from coughing? No. No, I don't. No.
Hold on, let me feel. No, not
No.
there.
Fucking coughing. I'm like, you have abs. He's like, oh yeah, I do. I'm like, damn it.
It is a really good ab workout, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. When your whole body's, yeah. I mean, it's rough, but I didn't really. That's about all I did. Oh no, I'm lying to you. I'm lying to you. I had a really cool weekend. We are expecting our second grandbaby,
Yay!
a little girl. So we got to do the party this weekend, and they did the reveal, which was really sweet. They kind of more intimate than the last one. The last party was like off the chain, people everywhere. So this one was a little bit more intimate. So it was really fun. So we got to hang out with the baby and see everybody, and it was a nice little gathering. So it was fun. So yeah, so we're having a baby girl. So she's due in August.
Yay!
But how about you? What's your week? Mom's still there, so you have lots of stuff going on.
Your mother, she's like, I'm like, Mom, can you help me out for, tonight for a show? And she's like, I don't know. Does it have to include me? And I'm like, oh, I got a bunch on you this week. I'll use your name. She's like, oh no. She walks away. But so Mom's here, and Nolan has been getting a water bottle. Well, we have two bottles that are the cleaning bottles, but he emptied one out, cleaned it out, and put water in it for the dogs. He's been spraying the dogs with it. So he's been spraying us. Like if we act out to him or like, tell him to do something he doesn't want to, he's like, "You want me to get the water? Do I need to get the water?" So he's been spraying us and spraying us across the house and stuff. And the other night he comes up and he's like spraying in my face, and we're fighting. We have this whole fight. Well, then Grandma thinks that she's gonna go get Nolan back. So she goes and gets a spray bottle. And she comes over and sprays him right in the face, and he's like, "Oh, Grandma, that's the chemical one." So she's like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Grandma!" And then she's like, "Oh, oh no, oh no, oh, I'm so sorry." She's like, "It's in my mouth."
It wasn't really the chemical one?
Yeah, yeah. So we're dying laughing, but I mean, all week he's had so much fun with that thing. It's spraying us all, everybody. He's a mess. The other night he held me down and got the sink sprayer and sprayed me with it. 'Cause he's big now, I can't hold him down. So I can't fight him off. So he literally soaked me. I was like, dang.
I have a sink sprayer story.
The what? The sink sprayer? Yeah, go ahead.
So when Logan was the same age probably Nolan is, we we were sitting at dinner, and I was being sassy, and Logan was saying something. I was like, nah, 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 just being sassy to him, like you would know I was the mom. And so he took his plate of angel hair pasta and just threw the pasta at me. So the pasta hits me in my hair. So I have angel hair pasta all in my, all over my face, all in my hair, all in my shirt. And so he starts laughing. So that starts this big food fight. Well, then I go to the sink and I pull the sprayer out, and I'm using it as a hose. I'm like, I get you. So he goes to run away from me and slips on the floor and hits his head on the tile.
I remember that.
Oh my gosh, blood everywhere.
You don't know how much the head bleeds until you do that.
Oh my gosh. And so I had been to the ER quite a few times that week because Jake's not the only one with asthma. The boys have asthma. They're always, we were always in the ER getting asthma treatments, or Nate cut his ear open. And I mean, we just like always in there. And this week we've been there a lot. So when we went in and he's like covered in blood, I have pasta all over me. And I hear them ask him, so what happened, as they're taking him through the door? I'm like, oh gosh, that's going to sound so bad. And so then we're in the hospital. He's in the hospital bed. He had to get, I think, 6 stitches across his forehead. And I leaned over and I said, you know I won, right? Like, it's clear that I'm the winner because one of us is in the bed. Mother of the year. Mother of the year. Man, he still has that scar. Every time I see it, I'm like, I'm so sorry. My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your week.
No, you're fine. So speaking of Mother of the Year, then this week I get a phone call and I'm at work and I'm like, huh, that's weird. The school's calling me. So, like, shoot, hopefully nobody's sick or something happened, you know? No, they were calling because we had a meeting that paperwork got sent home. Hey, Mrs. Irvine, this is so and so, and I have so in the room, like going through all the teachers in the room.
Oh my gosh, like there was like all the teachers.
Yes, like a whole meeting for my kid, and I'm like, oh yes. And they're like, do you have time to talk? We sent home paperwork. You were supposed to sign it and send it back. I was like, never saw it. I'm like, yeah, sure, I got time to talk. So I'm sitting outside a customer's house talking to them. I'm like, OMG, like, that always happens to me. Why? Oh, and then, so I'm like, I asked the teacher, I'm like, yeah, so, he tells me that he has a project or something on Friday. Is it this Friday or next Friday? He didn't know when it was. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's tomorrow. Like, oh, okay. So what are we supposed to do for this project? She's like, it's no big deal. You don't have to worry about it. It's okay. We can, And I'm like, no, really, what is it? What do we have to do? And she's like, well, you could, dress up a shirt or,
Was it 100 Days of School?
No, it was a word. Like, they had to pick a word and then dress like the word for this word parade.
What?
So I'm like, okay.
What kind of dumb shit
sure.
is that?
I'll do my best. I'll make a shirt or something. I'll do my best. Nope. Whoop. Totally forgot. So my kid goes to school.
My kid's word is Nike.
No, you know what it was. He told me, he goes, Mom, I had on all white that day, so my teacher made my word ghost. And I was like, that's not even white. It was khaki. He had khaki pants on and a khaki colored Nike shirt. I'm like, that's not white. He goes, yes, it is. I'll show you. It's white. And I'm like, okay, that's why they're called khaki pants. Like, I'm having an argument with my kid about white khaki. Meanwhile, so yeah, he made it to the word parade with the word ghost.
Nice.
So, works. But yeah, so then that happens. And then your mother, our mother, sends us this thing that she finds on Facebook, this video of how you can do a new hairstyle and use a thong. And she's like, yeah. So she's explaining to us. She's like, yeah. So the girl used the thong and then wrapped her hair, and it really works, right? I'm like, Mom, I'm not putting a thong on my head, right? So she goes. She's like, well, I might need to borrow one smaller. Like, you're so nasty. She's so ornery, right? And she's giggling, she's laughing about this, right? Because our mother is so ornery. If you've ever met her, you know she's ornery. And
were you checking over your shoulder to make sure she ain't coming in?
She's coming in, right?
She's coming in to spank you.
I didn't lock the door.
She gonna come in to spank you.
I didn't lock the door. I knew she could hear me. So what does she do? So we have one of the boys' friends is staying the night. She comes out and they're sleeping still. Well, she comes out with a thong on her head. She can barely get words out. She's crying, about to pee her pants, coming into the room with a thong on her head. She goes, she's like, see, she can't even get words out, but I think she was trying to say, see, I need a smaller one or something. I don't know. But then the door opens and the kids come out like, ah! She's like, with the thong on her head, her hair's all like crazy. Like, what are you doing? We have people around.
That poor kid would be traumatized for life. I saw
I don't
Nolan's
think
grandma
they
with
saw
a
it,
thong on her head.
on her head. I know, like,
Can
oh
you
my
imagine that
God.
conversation?
Yeah,
How you have
I
to
can't
explain
wait for
that?
conversation. Yeah. So,
How do you explain that to the other mom? What
yeah.
happened was my
So
mom is going
weird.
senile, and we were really trying to rein her in.
Yeah. So and then another thing your mother does is we're driving around town. Well, we end up having like a bunch of people, so we have to take her car. Well, she's driving, and she's like, we got all the kids in the car, and she like hits the gas pedal, like you go, everybody goes, "Ugh," you know, it's like, and then she hits the brake, and so your brake check the whole time. I'm like, Judy, what are you doing? I'm like, this is your car. You're not even in like a stranger's car. Like, these are your pedals. She's like, I know, because she's apologizing every time. So sorry, sorry. Like, what is happening? She's brake checking us.
The kids are all throwing up in the back seat.
Yes, and she's like, I never drive this car. I'm like, it's your car. She's like, but I don't. I drive my Mini at home. I don't ever drive it. I'm like, Judy.
She's a mess. She's a
It's
mess.
so funny. We laughed so hard about that because then the whole time, she's doing it every 2 seconds, and then she giggles about it. She's like, I'm so sorry. But,
I can't even like make fun of her anymore because I'm so much like her. Like it's
yeah, I know where you learned how to drive from.
oh
You
where's
drive
your
like
soundboard? Where's your soundboard? Play the birds. Oh, that's how I drive. When you would come pick up the kids, you come coming in hot down the street, like the kids would scatter to the grass.
They would all run.
They would. They'd be like, leave the bikes. Like, they would throw in scooters or running to the grass. You'd be like,
They would.
hooch mama, hood rat, rug rat, hooch mama. You'd be like, fill it in. Windows down, blare music. Hood rat, rug rat, hooch mama.
I remember at one of your houses, remember at the bottom of your driveway, the culvert was so big, and you would come in hot and nail that thing, boom, boom. I'd be like, damn, Nicole, you're about to take off your front end. You better slow down.
Oh man, I don't even. What car would that? That would have been one of the vans.
I don't know, but you used to hit that thing coming in hot. I'd be like, you about to take off your car, your whole wheel, all your wheels.
Should we be talking?
I know.
Do you have a side mirror today?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So then that happens today. We're driving down the road, going down this road that has like it's like an old railroad crossing bridge. So it's real thin. Like there's not a lot of space. Like the lanes are real tight. Well, yeah, so we go through this and we have the truck and the trailer, and Ted's truck, the mirrors stick out real far and the truck's real wide. It's a dually. So we're driving down the road. Well, then another truck hits our mirror. Came into our lane and hit our mirror because he was already hugging the right side because it was a big septic tank truck, and hits the mirror. It sounds like a freaking bomb goes off again. I already know what that's like with the deer hitting my mirror. So yeah, scared the shit out of us.
I bet I would freak me out too.
Oh my gosh, like we both yelled, screamed. So then we pull off. We're like, shit, man, now we gotta, because there's nowhere to pull off. I mean, it's a little narrow road. We pull off, go try to turn around. We have our 16-foot trailer with us. So we finally get out, we turn around, go back, we're going the way the guy was going. Well, then we see him pass us, and we're like, shit. Like, damn, there he goes. So then we pull off into this, like, building, and the parking lot was right on the road. So we're like, surely he'll see us. When he turns around and comes back, he'll see us parked here. So here he comes. We're waving. I'm waving out the window, like, yo, we're here. And keep driving. Like,
He's like, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I tried to find you.
Yeah, and you can't miss us because our name's all over our truck and trailer. So,
I know.
you know who
That
we are.
sucks.
Like, call us. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we're
I'm
not
sorry
going to go through
about
the
that.
insurance anyway because it's gonna be too much. So we'll just pay for it. But what a crappy Monday. I was like, great. Way to start our day.
No, like
Took
I'm just
30
starting.
minutes chasing this dude that just nailed our side mirror.
I'm only day 3 into the year. I decided I'm only gonna start in February, but now I may change that and just start in March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm just gonna tuck that month with the 2024 and just forget like it ever happened.
I know. Dude.
But
But yeah.
so
And
so it's
then I
funny.
think that was it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that was it for my week.
Well, so I'm on the phone with Carly this week, and this is how we came up with the show setting the standards. So Carly's house sits kind of back on her acreage, and then there's a house up next door that's up front, right? So the house is for sale, and so they found out that there's a family moving in with 5 kids.
I
5 kids, right? So
Mom goes, oh hell, you better set boundaries. I was like, yes, I better. Yeah.
Well, we were laughing because I said there's only like there's 2 types of 5-kid family. Either it's like a tight ship, everybody's helping everybody, and yes ma'am, and they're doing homeschool and like got their shit together. And then the other side of the 5-kid family is it's just a free for all. It's a shit show.
Free-for-all,
Like
too.
kids setting fires, the babies never dressed, like
Which is
like,
my house.
like there's one or the other, right? With a 5-kid family, like there's no ever in between. There's never like a normal, like they're either one extreme or the other. I feel like,
Yeah.
and so we were giggling about that. And Carly's outside working on her house, and she's like, "I still have my Christmas lights up." Like, what? It's February. Like you can't even use the whole January 14th thing or whatever date it is. Like that you keep your tree up. You got lights on. It's February 3rd.
It's February. I'm like, damn, time's flying. We really got to get those lights down.
And you know they're all rigged weird because Ted started from the other direction.
Yeah.
So you have cords everywhere.
What happened was we tried to take them down, but the night before we planned to take them down. It poured rain, so we go out there and they're half full of water. I'm like, shit, can't take them down now. We gotta wait. They're all full of water. We gotta let them dry out. Now here we are, like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, 2 months later. 2 months later.
Whoopsies.
So I told her, I said, you're setting a standard for the new neighbors.
That's the standard high,
like they're
baby.
like, shit, we can live free out here. They got their Christmas lights up. It's all open.
and I'm looking around and I'm talking to her as I'm sitting on my front porch looking at the lights, and I'm like looking around my yard and I'm like, ugh, there's shit everywhere. Like I'm living like no one looking. We're about to have new neighbors.
you have to pull it together.
Listen, I gotta set the standard. This is
Well-
what you get, neighbors.
This is what you
Don't
signed
come
up
over
for.
to this crazy place. You want to come over here?
I told her, I said the new neighbors are going to be like, we know, we can hear you.
That's what our other neighbors did when we moved in.
Well, I was on the phone with you and Nolan's riding the dirt bike, and I'm like, what is happening over there?
Oh. She thought I was farting.
And
I
I'm
was
like, what are you
"Oh."
doing? It was a dirt bike in the background. I'm like, I can hear that. But so we were just giggling about all the like things in our life, where you setting a standard and it's not good. It's not always good. But what kind of brought that up was my story was of Logan and Nate. And so they when Logan was home, they shared a bathroom. And Logan would always give Nate a hard time. He'd be like, you never brush your teeth. and they like, I brush my teeth every day. Logan's like, no, you don't. Your toothbrush is crusty. Like, it's hard. It's crusty. And Nate's like, no, it's not. I brush my teeth every day. And so they would fight, like, argue. Well, turns out, we didn't find this out until later, but so they got mad at each other. And Nate put Logan's toothbrush in the toilet. And then Logan put Nate's toothbrush in the toilet. Well,
they didn't know that each other were doing it.
They didn't know each other was doing it, so they were putting each other's toothbrush in the toilet. Well, it turns out they had confessed. Like, we were all in a group, and they had confessed, and I don't know which one confessed. I think Nate confessed first, and he said, "Look, I put your toothbrush in the toilet," and Logan's like, "I did yours too." Like, I would have lost my shit if you told me that. Like, if you said, I put your toothbrush in the toilet, I would have lost my shit. Well, and they were like, no, it's fair. Right. He was like, that's fair. I put yours in the toilet, too. And he said, which one's your toothbrush? And they were like, the blue one. And he's like, no, that's my toothbrush. They were using the same toothbrush and putting the one that nobody was using, the crusty one, in the toilet. So I think they were more grossed out that they were brushing their teeth with the same toothbrush than if their toothbrush was in the toilet. Logan's kind of a germaphobe, so he's not a big...
He's a huge germaphobe. Could you
He won't share drinks with anybody.
No. Ugh, I hate, like, when we go on vacation and Ted forgets his toothbrush or something.
You're like, oh, sorry about you.
Yeah, he's like all... Yeah, no, but he's like... I'm like, oh, you're not using mine. And then he'll go in and run and get my toothbrush and use it. And I'm like, ew, that's so gross.
I know.
He has no problem with it. But he will not drink after, like, if it's like milk or something like that. He won't. Nope, he will not.
It's so funny.
He'll brush his teeth with my toothbrush. I'm like, you're so nasty.
Yeah, so neither one of them used the toilet toothbrush, but they were sharing the same. They were so grossed out. And then
for a long time.
A long time. Yeah, a long time, because they were like, you don't brush your teeth, it's crusty. Well, because he hadn't used it. He was using the other one. So we were giggling about that. And then, so when Nate was little, he built this fire truck on Minecraft. And this was like a for real, because you have to do it block by block. It's like doing Legos online. You like my knowledge of Minecraft? Are you impressed? Yeah. It's a terrible description.
Legos online. Cute.
But so he built this fire truck, and it was phenomenal. Like, and he was probably 6, right? And so, I don't know, it's something. Logan went into his Minecraft account and set his fire truck on fire, right? Which was kind of the irony of that is kind of funny. And Nate was so mad. And Logan and I were in the room together talking, and Nate comes in and he's crying, he's so upset. And he has $1, and it's his Tooth Fairy. It's Logan's Tooth Fairy dollar, but he doesn't have it this way. He has it long ways, and he rips it slow as possible with like the most evil face. Like, I have got the most important thing in your life, your Tooth Fairy dollar, and I am ripping it in front of you. It was because Logan was beyond that, and Nate thought that is like his most valuable possession. And so he ripped that thing so slow all the way in half. And Logan and I were crying laughing. We couldn't even get it together, which made Nate even more mad. Because it was so cute. So Nate has the dollar framed in his bedroom. Oh, he still has it. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It is funny.
Because then when he realized later, like, oh, that was dumb because it was Mom's dollar. But...
Will you tell your other setting the standard story too?
Oh gosh, this one is one that humbles you, that keeps you like for real humble. So, okay, it's kind of a long story, but just bear with me. So, at church, there was a kid, and he went to youth camp. Well, he got saved at youth camp. It was probably the best baptism I've ever seen. Like, the joy on this kid's face. And anyway, I say that because it was so powerful that when he came back, his parents were not believers. And when he came back and he got up on stage, his dad came to the front and gave his life to Christ. So it was super cool to see. And Anyway, his dad got baptized and became a believer. Well, his mom was not a believer, and they kind of set that standard, like, this is just, we agree to this, and this is just how it is. And so he changed the rules anyway. So I keep my chest, but so I didn't become a believer until I was an adult. So I called her. I mean, she's a friend of ours. Our boys, went to school together and stuff. And so I called her and I said, hey, I'd love to take you to coffee. If you have any questions about Christianity and what these words mean and all this stuff is, I would love to sit down and answer any questions. Kind of a safe zone just between you and I, and whatever. Yeah. You can ask me whatever. So we get to coffee. We order the coffee. We sit down, and I say, now I'm going to share the gospel with this woman, right? Like, my whole plan is like, answer any question. I'm going to share the gospel, and hopefully maybe she'll, give her life to Christ, right? Yeah. So we sit down, and she's got a younger daughter that's Emily's age. And so I say, I can imagine that this must be pretty hard for you with your daughter being a lesbian, and there's probably a lot of questions you have. And she said, what? My daughter's not a lesbian. And I was like, really? But this is really awkward. Like, what do you do? Like, we literally just sat down with coffee. I haven't even drank the coffee yet. I was mortified. Like, she's like, my daughter's not a lesbian. And I was like, oh, I thought you told me she was. She's like, no, I've asked her, she's not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. So, I mean, I just said, this is awkward. I'm really sorry. Like, I don't even know what to do now. Like, this whole conversation is over. Like, we're definitely not bringing you to the gospel. I'm not sharing you to the gospel. Like, you're not coming over to the side. Because I'm a total asshole, and there's no way you're going to do it now. So, of course, we finished the meeting. It was super awkward. I mean, she's real sweet, though. I mean, she's still a friend of mine. But, so, anyway, we left. And a couple years later, her daughter did come out, and I had never been more justified, validated. Yeah, validated. I was so validated. Like, oh, thank God, this was so awkward for like years, so awkward. Like, oh, hey, because we see each other all the time. Like, oh, hey, still not coming over to Christianity. It's fine. I get it. It's fine. We'll let God work on your heart. So needless to say, yeah, she did not convert to Christianity. She still hasn't. And, yeah, her daughter came out. So, but I was like, oh, my gosh. I mean, what do you say? Like, literally, like you said, you just crawl down and just crawl out. Like, could you imagine if I just crawled out of the restaurant on my hands and knees at a coffee shop?
That's so weird. My kids are calling. I gotta go.
There's a fire. Everybody run.
You don't hear that?
I was so embarrassed. I mean, my intentions were so good. And then I was like, why would I even start with that?
I don't know.
I'm like, let me just get right to the point.
Why did you start with that? It's so random. Like,
well, because
sorry, your daughter's a lesbian.
Oh, you got a cappuccino, so your daughter's lesbian. So, this is weird.
Speaking of Jesus, so when I was in college...
Oh, just so you know, I don't try to convert people anymore. Like, no. That's not my lane. I just stay in my lane.
You just set the little seed. Just set a little seed.
Like... Yeah, like Hansel and Gretel. Just follow me. No, setting the standard. Don't worry, you can't be worse than me. You're fine. Aren't you glad I don't teach youth in preschool anymore?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, so go ahead. So Jesus.
So speaking of Jesus, when I was in college, I worked for Tijuana Flats for a couple days
Speaking
or
of
for a couple
Jesus.
weeks, and at that restaurant, like when you order, you give them your name, you go sit down, and then the server comes out and yells out your name and brings you your food. So I'm like 2 weeks in, not even probably. I was probably a weekend new, like. So I come out with the food and I'm like, Jesus, 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 Jesus! Like, I'm like, yes, nobody's answering. So then the guy, he leaves out of his booth and he goes, Jesus. I was like, oh, sorry. Here's your food. Jesus.
You just literally just want to crawl away. Like
I wanted to leave. I was so embarrassed. I don't know if I've ever been so embarrassed. Like, that was so bad.
and you're a
Jesus!
runner. You're a runner when you get embarrassed.
Jesus!
You run. Yeah, I know that because you've left me high and dry.
I probably went home sick, like peace homes. I'm throwing up. It's so weird. Gotta go.
You would think like you being my sister and stuff and how tight we are that you would be my ride or die. You're not. You're not. Every
Please
time I
don't
do
embarrass
something done,
me. I'm
you just
out.
run. You just run from me.
Don't
Like
embarrass me.
I'm like,
I'm
all right,
out.
let's go. And guy, look, the car's gone. Like gone. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, there's been so many times though you just want to like crawl away. What do you do? Like you just have to say, "Well, this is awkward." Like
So we were talking to. This is another funny story. I'll tell it. It's funny. And we were talking about names because I got my neighbors' names, and we're like stipulating like what kind of people we think they are, right? And we're just making jokes like we do. And then I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. Like my old neighbors, they had. I felt bad because should I say this?
I'll tell you what Jake said, and then you can decide. He said it's probably a family name.
I'm gonna go with that. So I'm fair skinned. I'm pale. I have that white Irish skin, and kind of red hair, right? Well, I wasn't. I was teased as a kid. Like I would never like do this to my kid, knowing that I would probably have a fair skinned child. Well, my neighbors both had fair skin and red hair, and they named their firstborn Tanner. So I'm like, you're setting that child up for failure. Like you grew up with
Well,
fair
because
skin.
when you're picking out names, like you have to go through like it's like, you know, Bobano, Fofo, I mean, whatever that is. Like it's like you have to figure out any kind of bully name that you could come up with,
Yes.
right? Like you go
Yeah.
through all of that with your kids, and like then you've narrowed it down to a couple that cannot be bullied. Maybe
Yeah.
that's just us. Maybe we were bullied enough. We're like, look, we're not going to let our kids go through this.
Maybe because I was so bullied. Like I would never do that to my kids. Like knowing how mean and ruthless kids are, I would never do that.
Well, Mom
And
said she had a friend named Dick.
yeah, like
Who does that? His last
Richard,
name was
yeah.
Dick, and he named him
Richard.
Richard. Like, what did you name
Yeah.
your kid Richard Dick? Like,
You're just
why?
setting them up for a life full of torture.
Yeah.
What did you were gonna name Nate?
Oh yeah. So, right. So when we were coming through names, we didn't know if Nate was going to be a boy or girl. We didn't find out. So we had a list of girl names and we had a list of boy names, and so we were trying to find like a strong family name, which is probably what Tanner is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because this child is white as white could be. Oh yeah, I didn't finish. He's white as white could be and bright red hair.
Yeah.
And poor thing's name is Tanner. Like
And he's
I'm
never
like,
going to be Tanner.
that child. Is
We know.
Never,
We're never going to be Tanner.
No.
Like, this is it. Like, they're like, oh, stay out of the sun. Oh, I'm good. Like, oh, I'm fine. But I have more yellow skin than you have. Like you have more of like the Irish skin. I have more of like the Polish skin. So I have
Did
more
we already
yellow.
tell that story about Honey?
Yeah. Carly reached Honey and was like, well, you have the more yellow Polish skin, Slavic skin. And Carly puts her hand out and Honey's like, oh, stop it. You know, she had
Well,
gone
no,
over
because
about
she's
how
like, at
white
least
and
you don't
pale.
have. She said, at least you don't have that pale white Irish skin. And I leaned forward and shook my arm in between their seats of the car. Like this, honey. She's like, oh, stop it. You're so sensitive. Just
So sensitive.
Stop it.
Well, like I look a lot like Honey. Like I look like her, and you look like Graham.
Yeah.
Like you're tiny and like chicken bones. Grammy was real tiny, and so you have her skin type, and I have the Halowinski skin type. So, so it's pretty funny, but so we decided on Conrad because that was Jake's grandfather's father, right? Grandfather. Great grandfather. Jake's like. So it was. I guess it was like. Yeah. So great grandfather or something. Yeah, it's a family name. Conrad Kern. Like, how strong is that name, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Pop and we're like, Pop, hey, we decided, and we thought it would be like, an honor to tell them that we're gonna name our son after his great grandfather. I don't know, somebody. And we said, yeah, we're gonna name him Conrad, and he said, oh, Connie, that's a great name. We were like, shut that off, like we're.
Back to the drawing board.
Do you know how big of a boy you'd have to be called Connie?
I know.
Like you'd have to be a scrapper.
Yeah.
You can be Connie in today's world if you weren't a big boy. I think they could have pulled it off. He would have held his own, but
he would have. He's pretty tough.
He would have been like one of those gypsies, like the Brad Pitt movie. What's the name of that movie, Jake? He's ignoring me.
I forget.
Jake, what's the name of the Brad Pitt gypsy movie that I like? Snatch. Yeah. When you can't understand them, that's...
Yeah, I can't. I was gonna try to speak like them, but I can't. I'm not even gonna try.
Try. Please try. Please try.
I can't do it.
But yeah, I mean, names are important when you're picking them. I wonder what they're going to pick for the baby's name.
We had a I guess I can't say it on here. I don't want to say it. Their name.
Oh.
It was a very inappropriate name.
When we were at the hospital, when we had Nate, one of the so you have to decide on the names, right?
Yeah.
Like Logan's birth certificate's like baby boy Kern, like all his hospital stuff. Not his birth certificate, but like all the hospital stuff, because we could not figure out a name for him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so, to be fair, he was very early, so we had time to decide.
Yeah.
And then he came early, and then we were like, oh, crap, we haven't narrowed it down yet. So he was Ethan that night, and I was like, well, hold on, let me look at him. And then we went and looked at him, we were like, no, he's Logan. That's how we got Logan's name, but but the lady taking the names that would do the register, like for all the names, she said the worst name she ever got was Chlamydia.
Who? Why?
And she said
Why would you do that?
I know. She said she stomped in the room and she was like, I will not let you name your daughter Chlamydia. And they just thought it was pretty. The girl didn't know she was a young mom and she didn't know what chlamydia was. She just thought it was a pretty name.
Oh,
could you imagine?
Gosh, thank God
your name
for
is
that
Chlamydia?
girl.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be terrible. When you talk about bullying.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else. You got anything else, sister?
Not that I can fit in by the end of the night. You weirdo. So, yeah, Papa and Nina are coming in next weekend. Maybe we can talk them to come on the podcast. I couldn't get him to do it last time. I know, because Papa's got the best stories.
He does.
No.
All right. Well, very good. Well, good show. Love you.
Love you. I'll see you this week.
Yep.